The price of your program tells a lot about you and your company, and knowing how to price your program is vital to the success of your offer. That's why I'm going to share with you 3 things you absolutely have to come up with in order to price your program correctly. Now, I had a friend of mine who was selling their program for $4,000, and they kept telling me, Wes, I don't know if I'm selling this at the right price, and I really feel like I could sell this for a lot more. I feel like I'm missing out on revenue, and I'm doing all this work for these clients. I'm not making as much money, and I feel like I could be making more. And he was absolutely right. When we looked at his program, we saw that he could sell it for way more than he actually was selling it for. And so we came up with these 3 things that we had him do in order for him to figure out what is the true price of his program. So I'm going to go over those with you right now. So the first thing that we did was market research. Okay, so we need to understand what was happening in the market. What's the market saying? What's the market doing? So we looked at our competition. How much are they selling it for? What are they offering with that program? All right, what's the perceived value of their program? And then that's actually the second thing. So one thing a lot of people don't talk about is, what's your client perceive it as from a value standpoint? What are they actually looking for? What are they expecting? What's the value that they put on this program that will equal the quality of work or quality of a result that they're looking for? So sometimes if you're priced too low and they're expecting it to be higher, they think you're not going to do a good job. Sometimes if it's really high, right, and they're expecting it to be lower, they're going to think, oh, well, I just can't afford this. This is out of my league. So the first thing we need to understand is, who are we trying to attract? Because who do we help, right? So obviously we understand that. And then what's the perceived value of the program that will equal to the quality of work, right, that they are looking for? If that's 10,000, if that's 4,000, if that's 15,000, right? Again, it all depends. So someone like me, I'm looking for the price to be higher because I perceive that with a higher quality of work. So I'm not looking for something for $2,500, but maybe that's the client that you're looking for. The person who's looking for that to be $2,500 because that's the amount of work or that's the amount of effort that you're going to put into helping them, whatever the case might be. So we have to analyze and figure out those 2 things. All right, so getting into number 2, which is we need to calculate our acquisition and our fulfillment costs. How much does it cost to acquire a client and fulfill that client? Now, I'm going to go through a couple of things that we looked at cost-wise to figure this out. We looked at our ad costs, we looked at our sales commissions, we looked at our staff salaries, we looked at our software expenses, rent if applicable. This wasn't applicable in this case, and any other variable or fixed costs of the business. Now, here's what we did. What we actually did was we looked at our ad cost first. Okay, so we understood here's how much we're running ads, and this is how many clients we're acquiring from it. So if I'm running 50,000 in ads, I'm acquiring 20 clients, let's just say, from that 50,000 in ads. Okay, so I know that's what my number is. I can start to take all of my costs, all of my other costs, and divide it by those 20 clients. Okay, so I take for example, I take my salaries. I put all my salaries together. I divide them by 20. I take all of my software expenses. I divide it by 20. What am I doing there? I'm figuring out what's my per client cost on all of these different expenses of my business. So once I do that, now I have a pretty good idea of how much that per client is costing me. So now I start to figure out how much do I need to charge. All right, now getting into the last one. So number 3, which is testing. Okay, so we need to look at testing the market. So that's just a part of it. You have to test different price points. Now, if you don't have the price showing in any part of your process and only your salesperson is the one in charge of that, this becomes a lot easier to test. So we know we're selling it right now at $4,000. We're going to keep that for now. We're going to take a certain segment of our sales team and have them sell it for a little bit higher. Okay, so we're going to take 1 or 2 of our people and we're going to have them sell it at 5,000, or we're going to have it sell it at 7,000 or 10,000, or whatever the number that we came up with that we really need to be making. So for example, our per client acquisition cost, let's just say is $2,000. Okay, well, I want to make sure that I'm making a minimum of $6,000 on that client, right? So that's my number, is 3 times the amount that it's costing me to acquire that client, right? It could be 4 times, it could be 5 times, and that just depends, right? So also, if the value of your program, so you're looking at the other part of it, if the value of your program and your competition, let's just say, is usually 8,000, great, I'm gonna make 4 times back my expenses, for example. You don't have to be married to a certain number. My minimum, though, is just 3 times the amount that it costs me to acquire my client, or higher. So guys, when we put this together for my client, what the actual cost of the program should have been across all of these variables was $10,000. Once we went through all three of these steps, right, or these things that I talked about today, we came up with the number $10,000. Until today, it's selling without a problem. It's selling smoothly at a high conversion rate. Their profit margins are a lot better, and they're being able to scale their business and put more money into their infrastructure and staffing and all of that good stuff, because now they're making that higher profit margin, which makes the quality of their program that much better. Now, guys, comment below and let me know, how do you come up with the price for your program, and what advice would you give other people when they're trying to figure out the price point of their program? But thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.